I am Linda Deer, and this guy right here.
Ray Holly, the Assistant Manager of Connectivity and Loose Wires.
Okay, and the beat goes on. We are always happy to be here with you guys on Tuesday, every Tuesday at 6 p.m. Pacific time. And here we go. In Two Worlds with Linda Deer and Ray Holly. Welcome to episode number 261 of Linda's Weekly Guided Insights, a weekly gift of guidance from my spirit guides on navigating the uncertain world that you are now living in. Tonight, the guides will talk about how the source of your pain points are much different than a year ago. Okay. The source of your pain points are much different than a year ago. Pain points go far beyond just physical issues. The source of your pain points are tasks you are forced to do, relationships you cannot escape from, habits that control you, and beliefs that are keeping you stuck. Being able to adjust to these pain points and address many of them will be a big challenge in 2021. Many of these pain points have now become attached to societal norms and the way people relate to each other. Writing down all your various pain points is necessary to start changing what's causing them. The gratitude that you have for what is working in your life right now is vital to moving forward into 2021. There will be a constant battle for cultural changes causing more pain points. So do not put yourself out there because there will be so many different pain points competing with each other by different groups that you will only draw the wrong attention to yourself. Okay, Ray, so we've got quite a few things going on with this one tonight.
We have a comment
We always,
from the other side of the world.
yeah, and anytime Linda's Weekly Guided Insights, anytime you guys leave a comment, it's the first thing we address in our Tuesday night live events, okay? And Ray's going to read the comment from
Viola in the Netherlands. Okay. I feel very grateful to see there are more like-minded people rising up. The pain point I had this week was that for the first time in my life, I was very angry with my dad, who's 73 years old. He said that people who did not stick to the corona rules are to be blamed and other people get sick and they should be fired from their jobs.
Wow.
I got so mad at him because he's doing exactly what the media and the politics want people to do, blame other people. Since I have been doing my research, thanks to Ray and Linda and the guides, this is the first year I have taken this seriously and done my own research. I could give him a detailed summary of what is going on in the world from what I have learned. That is what I am grateful for, too. I'm grateful to have learned that more and more people know what is going on and laugh at all the nonsense the authorities are telling us, except for my dad. Ha ha ha.
Yeah.
Linda said, once people start to do their own research, they can no longer mindlessly go along with the societal agenda. In fact, the old normal is practically gone. Soon it will be hard to remember it.
And that's true. You're going to see from Ray's research tonight on this insight from this world perspective, two worlds, you guys. I come from the world and I look under the hood and see what's really going on. Ray looks at it from the perspective of just looking at it for its face value just in this world, all right? And it's real interesting because just in this world, going back, what, did you go back 1 year or 2 years, Ray?
Well, kind of.
You went back 20 years. Okay.
Yeah.
So Ray unfolded this thing. He dissected it from a this world perspective. All right. So we could remember where we were in the timeline in history that led up to all this. Okay, interesting. So go ahead, Ray.
Okay, so I thought it'd be interesting to go back and look at what were people worried about a year or so ago.
Right.
Okay, when you look at 2018 and going into 2019, the number one thing, people were anxious. They were just anxious. They didn't know what was going to happen.
They felt something.
They felt something, didn't know what it was, so they worried about it. Which 85%, if you look back a year, 85% of the things you worried about a year ago didn't happen. So, but they were anxious going from
Feeling something.
Right, 2018 and 19 going into 19, and then 2019 going into 2020, they were no longer anxious. They were worried. So they were worried about a lot of things. The mass shootings was high on the list. Everybody was worried about mass shootings.
Right. Schools, theaters, malls, all kinds of stuff right in the street, people running over each other, over people.
Mass shootings. They were all worried about that. That was on the list. Cost of healthcare was on the list.
Of course, all the things that you worry about makes you sick.
Oh yeah, here's a big one on the list, high on the top 5 every year. Climate change. They're all worried about climate change.
And climate really has changed this year. It really has.
Yeah, sure got warmer in Phoenix.
But not necessarily for the reasons that the politicians are saying, all right?
Right.
Okay, they want you to think that because if you buy into it, then they can tax all of us and justify it.
Right.
Now, it doesn't mean it's going to fix the climate. You can't tell God, don't do this. It's a cycle. Our world is in a cycle. All right. So when you really put it in perspective, you can see through it, you guys, is what I'm saying. All right.
Yeah. People talk about fossil fuel and carbon emissions and, coming from cars. That's where we all have to have electric cars. Let's suppose all the gasoline powered cars and trucks disappeared overnight and everything was electric. That wouldn't change climate one bit.
Because you know where the electricity comes from?
Fossil fuels.
Yeah, it has to be generated. So it's still happening. It's just that you don't put that nozzle in your gas tank and fill it up with something that smells awful. Okay. You don't see, it's not as blatant. It seems cleaner,
Yeah.
But it really does. It does as much pollution as anything else does, and as much harm to the environment, like the windmills that kill off the birds and all kinds of stuff. All right.
They talk about, we're going to have millions of charging stations along America's highways. Well, that might be okay if you're on one of America's major highways. What if you're in the back roads? Okay. And you have an electric car, you're going to have to pull up into a gas station and there'll be like 3 gasoline generators there running a charging station.
And really, there are solutions to generating electricity, energy that we already have access to, that's already here. But because of the old staunch systems like oil companies and the
utility companies,
and everything that's been established from over 100 years, okay, it takes a lot to get those people, to push those people back and let these new free energy solutions, and they really are free energy solutions. They don't want that. Okay?
How do we bill people for free energy?
So if they push it off onto climate change, they distract you, and then you forgot what's really available and what's really going on. Okay, so go ahead, Ray.
Climate change happens all the time. It runs in cycles, like every 22 to 25,000 years.
It does.
The whole galaxy gets warmer. The whole galaxy gets colder.
It does.
And it goes through those cycles all the time.
It does.
There's nothing you can do to stop it.
Right. No matter how much they tax you. All right. Which is next on the agenda. We're not going to go into that tonight, but that's going to be a heavy one. Ray, who do we have here with us?
We have some very important
before you finish reading what you have, which is
important people here.
Very good.
Veronica,
Elizabeth,
Judy, Masalis. Hi, Judy. Kathy,
Elizabeth
again, and Elizabeth again. Elizabeth says it's all a smoke screen. Yeah, it is all a smoke
It
screen.
is. Yeah, it is. You guys do your research. So you're not just saying it blah, blah, blah. You're informed. And that's what it's about. You just need to be informed. You may not like what you're going to find. Many times you're not going to like what you find when you do your own research, like Viola talked about. You're not going to like it. But the truth is the truth. As soon as we can get to the truth, the clearer we can be, the more access our guides have to us, and the better decisions we can make. It's real simple.
See, more people would do their research if they knew where to go to do the research.
True.
Because you're not getting alternative viewpoints from the mainstream news.
You're not.
So you have to get in there. You have to Google alternative news sources.
And I want you guys to know something. This is coming real soon with artificial intelligence. They call it AI. That is on the brink of outsmarting anything that you go out to search and get answers to. If that information's out there, AI will instantly take it down. So still right now, today, right now, this month, next month, you can still get the information off when you Google it or when you go to incognito. Incognito is another search engine, all right, where they can't track where you're going, what you're doing, all right. Anyway, it won't be too much longer before they have these. It's structured data. It's AI. It's a way for the search engines to eliminate anything with certain keywords in it. Boom, it's gone. So it takes about a day or 2 days for something that's controversial to get wiped off the internet by, special interest. Okay.
Right.
Now, but in the near future, in the next, I don't know what, couple months or within a year,
not be that quick.
within
a year or two. I mean, pretty soon there's companies working on it already that will look for keywords on the internet, anywhere on the internet,
on social media,
immediately grab them and take it down, but also go to that person's site where they're generating that from and encrypt it so there's problems getting to it.
Right. So they're going to attack the person. Okay. So you want to do your research while you still can. Okay. That's what you want to do. Okay. What else do you have, Ray? You have other notes there?
I do. I mean, I'm just thinking about, people going out and they don't want to go look at alternative news sources because they think everybody there's a conspiracy theorist.
That's programming. Anybody who says that, and there is some conspiracy theories out there.
A few.
There always will be. That's just the nature of humans. Okay. But the point is just to go, it's all conspiracy theory. You bought into.
You have no proof.
You bought into the mainstream news, the agenda, what they want you to do. They want you to poo-poo it away and don't even think about it.
And they attack the person. See, most people who say something's a conspiracy theory, no matter what amount of proof and truth they would put right in front of their face, they wouldn't change their mind.
Right.
Because they're so invested in being right. Now, here's a good example. There was a guy named Copernicus who said...
He sounds Greek.
He was, I think, Italian.
Oh, well, close enough.
That's close enough to Greece. But he said that the Earth revolves around the sun. The sun doesn't go around the Earth. Everybody believed that the sun went around the Earth until he said, no, the Earth and the other planets go around the sun. And he was called, guess what?
A conspiracy theorist.
And what happened to him? He lost his job. He lost all his money. He lost his family. He was put in prison because he was a conspiracy theorist.
Yeah.
And guess what? The Earth does go around the sun.
Yeah. So you guys, just do your research. And just like they said here in this session, and what Ray just brought up is a real good point. I want to reiterate this. Hold on a minute. Give me a minute. There will be a constant battle for cultural changes causing more pain points. So do not put yourself out there because there will be so many different pain points competing with each other by different groups that you will only draw the wrong attention to yourself. Do your research, track what's going on, get clear about what's happening so you can begin to assimilate everything that's happening. and make better decisions. The guides in our latest webinar, they said, do your research. Don't do anything. Don't jump to conclusions right now. Let it play out. Write down, use your journal. And to get the journal, the journal, my journal writing, use this one to write down what you're learning, what you're finding out, how it made you feel when you learned about it, what you realized, and what action you intend to take. But keep it to yourself. This journal is for your eyes only. And as you track what's going on, knowing they're going to start monitoring the alternative news so much, it's going to get very hard to find what's going on out there. So you've got to start tracking it now so that when it turns into that, when the days go dark, and that's really what that is, you won't be in the dark. You will have done your research and you will have written it all down, dated it, and answered those 4 qualifying questions. This will keep you sane. Okay. That's why I wrote these books. Okay.
There's another great conspiracy theory. The earth is flat.
Everybody
used to believe the earth is flat, and several people.
And right now there's a flat earth theory out there that they're doing. I mean, and really the way I look at it, I don't know. I mean, who the hell knows? But the idea of having alternative opinions is nice. You make your own decisions from that. But you don't want somebody telling you, you can't see that. This is censored. We're taking it down. We don't even want you to know it's out there. Who decides that? And that's where this is going. So you need to do your research while you still can.
Yeah, 2 comments. If the earth was flat, you would probably be able to see Mount Everest wherever you were.
Yeah, common sense will take you through a lot of this.
Well, that's one.
Okay.
But again, I forget the guy. He was a Greek mathematician. I forget his name. It was like centuries and centuries ago. He proved that the earth was round, but he didn't have any scientific gear.
They did a number on him too.
Yeah. So anyway, nobody believed him. So he took sticks and he stuck them in the ground and he measured the angle of the shadows at the same time of day. And he had friends around the known world at that time who did the same thing. Put the stick in the ground so tall, measure the angle of the shadows at certain time of day, but they figured out that the earth was round by doing that.
Yeah, very simple mathematics, really. Okay, so what else do we have here?
Well, we have some more recent research. 20 years ago, do you remember what everybody was worried about?
K2.
Y2K.
Yeah, Y2K, that's what it was.
Everything was going to fall apart. The banking system was going to fall apart. The computer systems can't handle it.
That's right.
That didn't happen.
Nothing happened.
Nothing happened.
Yeah.
But a lot of people waited up that night just to see what was going to happen to their computer. Okay. It was a hoax. Remember that word, people? Hoax.
Yeah. A lot of what's going on. I will say that the mainstream news, the media, is 90% make-believe. It's designed to make you remember. Television is called television because it tells you their vision of what they want you to think and believe and abide by. Tell a vision. Just remember that. You don't need someone to tell you what your vision is. You need to go out and figure that out for yourself. That's free will. This is your life. All right?
They told you for decades that cigarettes were good for you. They wouldn't hurt you.
There's a lot of things like that still.
There is. Yeah. There's some recent things like that.
Yeah. So what else do we have there, Ray, with your fantastic research?
All right. The difference from the end of 2018 going into 2019, people were anxious, number one, and worried when they got into 2019.
Yeah.
So they went from anxiety to worry.
Right.
Well, now they've gone from worry in 2019 to now moving from 2020 into 2021, crisis.
Right. Right.
So they've gone from anxiety to worry to crisis.
Right. Right.
And the things that they're mostly worried about are financial things, poverty, crime, and employment, their jobs.
the same thing they're worried about right now, but on a hyper level.
Right. They were worried about it. Now their job's in crisis.
Now they're not just worried about it, it's over.
What was it, 20% or something? More people are now in the poverty, at the poverty level, don't have a job, and are at least $5,000 underwater in their rent.
Something has to break here, you guys. Yeah, this is like the patient. The patient back in 2018 going into 2019 was noticing it was having problems. The patient wasn't feeling right. Something wasn't quite right. I'm moving it into health so you can relate to it. And then by 2019 to 2020, people were fearful. They were worried and fearful. And then bam, this global shutdown happened. And that really tipped them over the edge. Their immune system was compromised. They were fearful of everything, okay, because fear was being sold to them wholesale, okay. Now we're going from 2020 to 2021, and people are just, they're, what's the best way to describe this? How did they say it here in your research?
It's crisis point now.
Okay, now it's at a crisis. Now people are really in crisis, and this whole thing, they were what was the first one? They were anxious about,
and then they got worried.
Okay, let me finish this. They were anxious. This is all of you, anxious, and then you got worried, fearful, only to find yourself in crises. That went really fast. All along, every one of you knew something was wrong. You knew something wasn't right. Didn't feel right. Even when this whole thing went down, still doesn't feel right. This doesn't feel right. And where they're trying to take us doesn't feel right. So we all agree on that. We all know something's not right. Only you can answer, can fill that void. Only you, by following this. Do this 15 minutes a day, write in your journal about what's unusual and out of the ordinary that day. What you heard about, and it went, doesn't feel right. Write down what that is and talk about how it felt and why, what it didn't feel right about it. Then you'll realize something from it. You'll have a realization. The whole point in doing this is to have these realizations so you have the capacity to take the right action. When you write in here, you may not take action right away. You may not. You may write it all in there and realize the action you imagine taking, and you keep writing each day about, what's going on, what you're realizing, what you're acknowledging is really happening. And then you go back in a week from now, a month from now, and you look at what you wrote, and you're going to go, oh, now I see like a daisy chain. I connect the dots. I can see the bigger picture. This is your storyboard talking to you, telling you what it is. Because I want you guys to know, when you write in this and you continue to do this and it becomes second nature, it becomes alive inside you, your guides start to inject their insights into your writing. It's called automatic writing. It's just a natural byproduct of performing on this each day. This builds that communication bridge with you and your guidance. Okay, Ray. So what else do we have there, Ray?
Well, let's see. Oh, Linda's with us. Linda in Mexico. Yep. Judy said she laughed at Y2K too. People were afraid for a long time.
They were it tells you how much faith people have in everything that's going on. They know it's moving so fast. It really is moving fast. Everything's moving fast. So that's part of what's confusing about it. Chapter 1 of Guided, the merry-go-round dream. As the merry-go-round dream started to speed up, everyone I knew in the whole wide world, people were flying off the merry-go-round, terrified. We're at that point in history right now. We are fast forward. This is when the first memories I had, I'm going to say just before 2 years old, is when I started remembering these dreams. Had the same dream for the first 35 years of my life, showing me this. Whoa. And here we are. Okay, we're on that merry-go-round, you guys, and it's really speeding up. So this is showtime. This is why you came here. This is the whole reason why you came here. You're just about ready. You're almost at the peak, at that crescendo where your purpose is going to be lit up like putting a flashlight on it. You're going to know what it is, but you won't know it for another year. It's peeling out right now. You must start writing every day in your journal about what's unusual or out of the ordinary. You must start tracking yourself in order to not miss it at this point. You don't want to miss it now. You bothered living this much to get to this point. Don't let it scare you. It's showtime. It's your time. Okay. Okay. So I'm going to go ahead and close this up. We're going to do a closing message with the guides at the end here, but give me a minute to announce a few things. Join us on next Tuesday, December 15th, for episode number 262 of Linda's Weekly Guided Insights with me, Ray, and my spirit guides at 6 p.m. Pacific time on my Facebook page, Facebook timeline, and YouTube channel. Use the search term Linda Deer. In Linda's Weekly Guided Insights, my spirit guides will be talking about the big societal divide. To us, it looks like a divide. It looks like a divide is not good in any case. And what they're saying here to us, to them, to the guides, the whole thing about dividing people and dividing anything just doesn't work. The problem is that people have no respect or tolerance for people who are different. Rather, they blame people on the other side of the divide for their troubles in life. It's always someone else's fault. Rather than arguing about what's right or wrong, dividing classes, countries, races, or any type of political divide, people should look at the elements behind the divide and stop attacking the person. This Saturday, December 12th at 1 p.m. Pacific time, I will be reading from the 137 tips, learnings, lessons, and awarenesses sprinkled throughout Guided. Last Saturday, I read the last chapter of Guided along with the afterword. And this will be on my Facebook page, Facebook timeline, and YouTube channel. This reading will awaken you to the guidance that's always available. You want to join in, because what I'm going to do is I'm going to read these and then I'm going to talk about it with you, and read the next one and talk about it with you, okay? To really help you solidify this in your own mind so you see how it plays into your life, how guidance is in your life all the time, and how it works. So if my work has changed your life in any way, tell your like-minded friends about it, about my books, about the website, about Tuesdays, about Saturdays, about the webinars at the end of the month, about, all the things we do. Because it does help. All right. Okay, and I also have training that's coming up in January that's going to be amazing. I'm going to set up a class where you guys can join in on the training, and it'll be affordable. So the guides are going to close the session about the source of your pain points are much different than a year ago. And here they go.
Take a look backwards from pain. What is it that causes you pain? Always, when you look at the symptom of pain, you generally do not see the cause. We can tell you that it is fear. fear comes from doubt. So anyone who can instill doubt in you is on their way to turning it into fear. The people who seek greed and power and money cannot control anyone who is not afraid.
Right.
What they are trying to make you fear is what they fear if you
Don't do it.
are not afraid.
Right.
If
They're more afraid of you than you are of any of
there's
this.
a lot more of us than them. if you don't like to be controlled, look at what you're afraid of. Once you stop the fear, you feel the freedom.
Okay. This is how you're going to do it. Here I go again. You know, I lived it, you guys. I'm proof of how this works. That's why I wrote this. Okay. You need these journals. Okay. This journal will start to, in 1 month of doing this, writing in your journal about what's going on in your world. What is that? Write that down. How does that make you feel? And I don't mean just, oh, it made me feel bad or made me feel good. No. How did it really make you feel? Have a coach, have somebody that's a friend, and you guys both have the journal and you help each other flush it out. Sometimes you need somebody there, like somebody to help you get in there and get into that. That's what I do in the training. I get in there and I pull it out of there, and then we can look at it and go, ew. And we can start dealing with it, all right? And it no longer controls you. You will feel like a totally different person when you grab back your power, okay? I know in Guided, if you guys haven't read Guided, you need to read it. I talk about how as a kid in school, how I beat up the bullies. I couldn't stand the bullies. And sometimes I got beat up. Sometimes I did. Most of the time I didn't. So I didn't care because I was tormented on a daily basis by a bully, my mom. Okay, so when I went to school, my only resolve was to help anybody who was treated like that, where we were on equal ground, peers, right? We were on equal ground, and I could step up and do something about it, at least there. Okay, now look what I do. I do this to get you guys back into your power so that no bully out there can push you around. Just something like my mom. Okay. So it was all stemmed from the early part of my life when my mom, she was bad news. But boy, did she make me realize myself. Did she push me to a limit where I encountered my guides? And you guys, I had the best kept secret there was. Not only did they save my life, but they guided me to higher learning. And then when I went out on my own at 16, by the time I was 19, my career, I just, without any formal education at all, you guys, I did things that were unbelievable in the business world that I was able to pull off. And it was just stellar success because I was guided. You guys have the same thing. I know it because I've walked it, lived it. I live it and breathe it. You guys have nothing to be afraid of, nothing. And don't think that something bigger is not looking out for us here on the planet, because they are. Hook into your own guides. You're going to bump into them literally when you start writing in your journal every day for 15 minutes. All right.
That's it.
We'll see you guys this weekend. We'll see you guys next Tuesday.
Yeah. It's exciting. We finished that whole book.
I know.
Last week.
I know. Last week was amazing. If you didn't see it, you can, go back on my feed, Facebook feed and stuff, and go down and you'll see it in there and you can watch it. It was interesting. So,
Yeah.
but if you haven't gotten guided, get it, because, and really the audiobook is the biggest seller of all the versions. The paperback, the Kindle, the audiobook is the one that sells the most.
But when you get the Kindle and paperback, you get all those fabulous photographs.
You do.
Of you when you were a baby and
I know.
growing up, and
Yeah.
when we get to part 4 and you meet me and live happily ever after, all those great photographs.
Right. Yeah.
See? It is a love story.
So do we have anybody talking here before we close tonight, Ray?
Okay, right here we want Elizabeth wants to know, what number journal should you buy? Okay, there's 2 of them.
Yeah, there's 2 of them. We have My Guided Journey. Now this here is the journey back. This is where you do the healing. I'm going to be working with you guys in the training in this. 18 chapters of going back and
to find out where you were taught the wrong things.
Right.
And there's a few pages in
and
the
then
back.
In the back,
yeah.
In the back, there's 20 journal entry pages to get you going in part 3. Get this book and then get just the journal entries. This is just the journal writing. So we put 20 pages at the end of this, and I'll tell you why we did this. I suggest that you start writing in part 3, where you start doing your daily journal entries, just the daily ones. Don't go back into your past yet, where all this started, until you start writing in my journal writing and the journal entry pages each day for 15 minutes. You're not going to see what the problem is. Okay. You're not going to see where you're doing really well. Where you're doing really well is just as important as where the problems are. Okay. And then once you do all this, then you can go back to part 2 and identify, oh yeah, I wonder what it is. Was it when I was young and I was at a crossroads and I felt a silent void, one that made me feel sad and alone? Is that where I am right now? Is that the one? Okay. So then you go in there and you read, you read the opening pages right here to get you started right there. You read, there's just a few of them to get you going, to trigger you, to wake that up. And then you do the same thing. You write down what that is. Okay. How, in this case, you write down what that is, and then when and where it first happened, how that made you feel, what you realize, and the action you can take now. This will heal your past. What part 3 does is it lets you know where you're doing really well and where you're not.
And it's going into the future.
So you
this
can
is going into your past.
Yeah.
And the journal writing, hold them both up again. They want to see the covers again.
Okay, Ray.
So it's a 3-part system. There's guided.
Right.
That's how Linda did it. And then this is where you go back into your early life to find out where you got off track, where people taught you the wrong things. And the journal writing in part 3 is a whole book of the journal, blank journal pages
where you are right now,
right,
and where you're going forward.
Right.
Okay.
This one says your roadmap to consciousness, and this one says self-discovery and personal transformation. And
a little secret about these books, you guys are going to find out a little secret tonight. You wouldn't normally notice this, but we're going to show this to you now.
We're giving away our secrets.
Okay, so Ray, show it to them.
See this right down? Okay, right there. See the little footprints? What direction are they going? They're going back into your life. See? And look at this one. Which way are they going? They're going into the future.
Right.
How clever is that?
That's just a little secret to them. So that's how they work together. And thank you for asking. Who asked that?
Judy,
yeah. You need both of them.
And
Elizabeth, right. Yeah.
And Judy says Veronica told her about you.
Yeah. Oh, good.
We love Veronica.
We do. Veronica's come a long ways. Veronica knows how these books work.
Right.
Yeah. When you go to Ask the Universal Channel private group on Facebook, you will meet Veronica Kathy and Joy, they're the primary teachers that Ray and I spent 2 years teaching how to use this the correct way. And they when they teach you guys, they walk you through these 4 qualifying questions. The information that came through, what your question was, and the information the guides brought through. And then they ask you how that made you feel. So now you can begin to see and connect with the information. And then what do you realize? And then what action do you intend to take? Their lessons are free. Once you have one version, any version of Ask the Universal channel, you guys can get into the group and experience these amazing teachers. They're very good at this.
I'll put a little note there.
Okay, Ray. So Ray's writing to you.
And there's where you can go see the boards.
Yeah, there you go.
That's our other website.
Yeah, that's where you can get these. They're not expensive. This one is the official version. This is $39. This is the most expensive version, the professional version. But we have the same scale and size in a paperback version, where you can just print it out on your printer and put it in a sheet protector, probably with the speller, or use your own pendulum. This is the pendulum we have, specific for this. This
is the optimum size to use a pendulum.
Yeah.
A lot of talking boards are so big that you can't use a pendulum effectively.
Right. This is optimized for it.
Right.
So so you can do that. And then we've got the online digital talking board,
right,
that you use the mouse is your speller.
Or your finger on your touchpad.
It's very cool.
Or you can, if it's on your phone, you can bring it up on your phone and you can use this.
See, the tip is nice and sharp.
Nice and small, so you can, it's very effective.
Yeah.
And you have it with you no matter where you are.
Yeah.
On the digital version, because it's in the cloud.
And you have the group, Ask the Universal channel, to support your learning process. Okay.
Okay.
All right, you guys. We will see you Saturday. Join in on Saturday, 1 p.m. Pacific time. And we will see you next Tuesday, 6 p.m. Pacific time. All right.
And remember that 85% of the stuff you worry about doesn't happen. So you need to go through everything you're worrying about and just pick out the 15% that really, you really want to worry about.
What you really want to do is you want to start writing in your journal.
Exactly.
So you can see what it is.
Right.
Because you guys are going to see the healthy parts of how you're doing. And then you're going to see the parts of you that need help, that needs to heal. It's to heal. Okay. Once you heal whatever's frightening you or scaring you or intimidating you or bullying you. Okay. Once you see what that is, only then will you have power over it, you guys. All right.
Yeah. If you're not afraid of it, you can't be controlled by it.
You can't be controlled by it. Nope. And I may have paid the price when I was a kid. For me, school was a revolving door of suspension, one after the other, at least 3 times a month, because I beat up another bully. Okay. And the kids would say, Linda, you're going to get in trouble. Yeah, I know that. But if somebody doesn't step up, then that kid, I'm not going to let that happen. Nobody stepped up. It's time to step it up, you guys.
Kids aren't afraid of getting kicked out of school anymore now.
They're
already home. And by the way, interesting article today. They're failing their tests at a factor of 6x. 6 times many students failing their tests from trying to study at home or not studying at home.
Right. Well, nobody knows how to handle this situation. What's really happening is it's moving to online learning. And my feeling about it is long-term, it's going to be way better than what they experienced in a classroom with all the school shootings and the bullying. And there were, you guys, if you really look at it, there wasn't much good about that. All right.
The sad part of this, being at home, being forced to learn from home, is that the kids who needed to go to school to get something to eat.
Yeah.
Now they can't.
I know.
And their parents can't afford to feed them.
You guys, listen, this is going to work itself out better than anything we can see right now. Okay. You, Ray, me, all of us, we're going to be the solution, not the problem. The problems existed and it kept getting worse and worse and worse. Okay, it's a problem. Now let's find a solution. Let's let it come to us. When it does, write it in your journal so you can see the progress you're making. Oh, I had a dream and I saw this in my dream. How many times in Guided did I talk about the dream? In fact, it starts with the dream I had, showing me my purpose in this life. Linda, you're here to help people overcome their fear so they live the life they intended. That this life doesn't steal another life from them, all right? From the people that are here with you in this lifetime. That's why I'm here. That's my work. So you guys have your work too. You're going to find it when you start doing this journal writing. And you guys, you're on with each other right now. Start meeting each other. Okay, you guys are like-minded people. Start meeting and help each other. Be a journal buddy with each other. I mean it. Okay.
Okay.
We love you guys. You guys are the best. You guys are.
We will see you soon, Saturday or next Tuesday. And books make great holiday gifts.
Oh, God. And you know what? If you guys have kids or grandchildren, when you learn how to do this, you can sit with your kids or your grandkids and you can show them how to do this and get it right.
We have a lot of people who do that.
We do.
That they sit with their kids.
They work through
it with their kids.
Instead of bedtime stories,
right?
They use the journal and they tell their own stories.
Right.
Okay.
All right.
Oh, okay, you guys. Have a good evening.
Be kind.
Good night.
Stay well.